It was a cozy morning in our house. I just checked my travel notebook and flashed a smile as I realized that my plan is slowly coming to life. I am so excited to tell my family about the extravagant vacation that I prepared for them. I want them to be happy. The trip will be in a luxury and famous resort and will transpire this coming weekend. As I was preparing breakfast for my family of four, my husband arrived in the kitchen. His presence made me feel so excited. I want to tell him about the trip. Guess what, John? I have been planning something extraordinary for us and the family. Oh, really? Do tell, my love. I've been planning the most lavish and grand family vacation, and it's going to be unforgettable. I cannot wait to experience what you have planned for. How can I help? Hmm, I think you can help in sending the invitations. I'm sure your mother will love it. My husband paused for a moment. He was thinking about something, as if he's not so sure about what I said. But will you love having her around? I sighed. I have no choice. I know that there is a conflict between us, but this trip is all about forging bonds and making memories. I want to be the bigger person. That's why I want to reach out to her and invite her to our vacation. You're such a lovely soul, my love. I am so proud of you for being the bigger person. Okay, I'll send her the invitation. Let's make this trip a memorable one. My husband hugged me tightly and kissed me on the forehead. My mother-in-law, Lara, and I had a tough relationship. Both of us are often involved in heated arguments because we frequently disagree on things. But I can sense that her hatred towards me stems deep. I am well aware that she doesn't want me to marry John because she has her eyes on another girl, John's childhood best friend, and she wants her for him. That is why she is always so annoyed with me. There are many times that she tried to humiliate me in front of everybody. She even calls me names that are so degrading. There was an incident that I will never forget. She hit me in the face. It was my son's 5th birthday. I did my best to throw the grandest party, but there was a slight mishap when the caterer forgot to make the cake due to clashing orders. I panicked immediately, looked for a solution, but my mother-in-law was so angry at me. She told me that I was so dumb in organizing the party. If she was the one who did it, everything would be perfect. The guests started to look for the cake, and every time my mother-in-law saw the absence of the cake, her anger escalates. Hence, the moment that my backup cake arrived, she grabbed it and smudged it on my face and slapped me so hard. Good thing nobody saw it as the commotion happened inside the kitchen. I cried when I felt the pain of her attack. She wasn't even sorry about it. She went out of the kitchen immediately and faced the guests as if nothing had happened. I forced myself to recover from that terrible incident and fix the cake. I wanted to push through my son's birthday and make it a successful one. On that day, I realized that she was capable of abusing me. I was deeply shocked and traumatized by what she did. But still, I want us to connect and build a relationship for the sake of our family. A moment later, our kids came to the kitchen and enjoyed their pancakes and waffles. I told them about the trip that is going to happen. The excitement in their eyes went over the moon. My first child, Heather, listed down the things and activities that she wants to do. She even planned her itinerary. While our youngest, Primo, rushed to his room after he bit the last piece of his waffles. He said that he's going to pack his clothes already. My heart melted as I saw them being overly excited. This is the exact moment that I have pictured in my mind since the day I planned this trip. The next day, I spent the entire 24 hours finalizing the flight and accommodation bookings, as well as other activities that needed expenses. With that, my study room is filled with travel brochures, itineraries, and a laptop displaying an exquisite beach resort. I can feel the adrenaline rushing into my system. I am anticipating only the best. For an entire month, I immersed myself in creating the perfect vacation. I spared no expense, choosing the high rated beach resort in the country and the best accommodation that my family can experience. As I finally booked everything, I heaved a deep sigh. I closed my eyes in satisfaction, and the only thing that I can imagine are the breathtaking stills of the beach resort, pristine white sands, crystal clear turquoise water, and luxurious accommodations. This is what my family deserves. After my quick rest, I immediately paid for the itinerary, ensuring every family member's enjoyment and comfort. I'm thinking about my mother-in-law. Will she show up? Will she like it? I hope through this trip we can reconcile. Afterwards, my husband sends me a text message confirming my mother-in-law's attendance. She is coming with us. Everything is going so smoothly. I hope everything will stay the same during the entire duration of the event. However, when my husband arrived from work that night, he immediately approached me, signaling me to have a private conversation with him. So I followed him to our room. He seems so serious and wants to say something very important. What is wrong, my love? My mom agreed to come with us. That's great. Just like how I planned it to be. I am so excited. But she's on her way towards here actually already. She wants to be here already and emphasize that she wants to oversee the preparations. But I'm the one in charge of that. Yes, I told her that there is nothing to worry about and that you got it all covered. I also told her that you have already booked and planned everything, but she don't trust me and thinks that I'm stupid and that I'm going to ruin the trip. I know. My love, I'm so sorry. I know you did your best, but this is my mother. You know her. She's strict and bossy. Let's just understand her and be a bigger person. I heaved a deep sigh. I didn't have any choice. So I nodded him in response. My husband said that she will be here by tomorrow morning. I remembered the scene from my son's birthday. What if a mistake happened or something bad will happen to the plans that I made, like delayed flights and rebooked accommodations? I can already feel the anger of my mother-in-law once we'll encounter that kind of situation. My heart started to pump so hard when I also pictured the possible abuses that she will do to me. I'm so scared of her whenever she is pissed off. Morning came and she finally arrived at our house. My kids rushed towards her and hugged her. This is one of her redeeming qualities. She is very family-oriented. I approached her and paid my respects by kissing her cheeks to cheek. She did the same. I tried to be nice to her, but just a few minutes after arriving, she was already giving me a bossy attitude. She asked for a healthy and hearty lunch and instructed me to cook her favorite dish, and I had no choice but to follow her. After we had lunch, she asked for the itinerary and all the plans that I made. She reviewed it, and as she was reading every detail, her eyes frowned. Is there something wrong? Am I at fault again? She looked at me and rolled her eyes. Why is she like this? She didn't say a word. That's why I don't know if she approves of it or not. But by the looks of it, she's not buying everything I planned. Later that night, my husband came home. He was so happy to see his mother, and as they were talking to each other, I overheard them. So, are you sure that your wife will not sabotage this trip because of me? No, Mom, I saw how eager and determined Angel was to plan this family vacation. All she wants is the best for us. That girl is dumb and clumsy. I will be watching her every move and I will point out any mistake I'll notice. Please, don't do that, Mom. Angel is not like that. I know better, son. Just trust her for once. I will never. Oh, by the way, I invited Tessa to come with us. What? Why? She just came back from Europe, and besides, she's your childhood sweetheart. She's the most successful bachelorette in the city, and I want her to enjoy this trip with us. I have to consult Angel first. Why? Because this is her trip. She's the one who planned this. She's entitled to know everything. That is not going to happen. Tessa will come, whether she likes it or not. I'm the one who must be followed here, understood? I saw my husband heave a sigh out of frustration. Why is my mother-in-law doing this to me? Does she hate me that much? Tessa is my husband's childhood friend and the one that my mother-in-law wants him to marry. I can feel all the insecurities rushing into my system. No, this can't be happening. My mother-in-law must not meddle with my affairs. I paid and planned for this trip, and she just can't invite people to join us without consulting me first. That is just pure disrespect. The day of the trip came. Everyone in the house is so excited. The kids couldn't contain their anticipation for the fun activities that awaited them. Even my husband was so excited to see the resort. Some of our other family members also arrived. As my husband and the kids were loading the things in our van, I was also busy packing the food that we were going to bring. I went to the pantry to check some of the ingredients, but when I was about to leave, the door locked from the other side. I started to panic. I knocked on the door and shouted for help, but no one was answering. I kept on banging it to catch someone's attention, but no one rescued me. I heard my mother-in-law's voice, so I called her and asked for her, but she just laughed at me. Oh, I am so sorry, but we're having a seat crisis. I decided to exclude you from the trip because of a limited seating situation. Your spot will be given to Tessa, so you should stay here. If you ever try to catch up with us, I will file your divorce papers with my son myself. Bye! I always knew that she had ulterior motives, but I didn't realize that it has to be this bad. This is so cruel. I knew she was capable of doing this kind of thing. Good thing there were sharp objects inside the pantry, and I used them to pick the lock. The moment I escaped, I went immediately to our porch, where everyone gathers to leave for the vacation. They are already inside the van and were about to leave. I saw someone quite familiar to me inside. It was Tessa. My mother-in-law saw me approaching. That's why she instructed a driver to drive. My husband and kids didn't notice me. In just a few minutes, my husband sent me a text message. Is it true that my mother paid for the trip? You lied to me saying you prepared everything? I fell to my knees. What is my husband trying to say? Did my mother-in-law deceive my family by taking credit for the trip I paid for? No way. This is too much already. And with that, I became so determined to expose my mother-in-law's deceit and reclaim my rightful credit. I started to plan how I can devise my revenge. I discreetly contacted the resort staff, informing them about my plans and the truth behind the trip's financing. They are currently in an 8-hour travel, so I took the time to make my revenge plan. I told them that once my family arrived from the beach resort, I wanted the resort staff to escort them to a grand reception in my mother in law's honor. On top of that, I stressed the banquet to be glamorous and lavish. I also instructed the staff to provide me with a real time update. So, as soon as my family arrived at the beach resort, they were escorted to the venue. They told me that my mother in law almost got into an argument with the receptionist because she insisted that she didn't book a banquet hall. After all, it was not listed on my itinerary notebook. When everyone was settled, a slideshow started to appear in front of them. The moment of truth. She has successfully deceived my family members that it was her who planned everything. So the slideshow revealed the truth. It showcased my efforts and meticulous planning. Aside from that, I also showcased my mother-in-law's abuse and hatred towards me. The staff told me that my family was so shocked by what they discovered because my mother-in-law has this sweet angelic persona that is not true. Her humiliation as her lies were exposed in front of everyone. Also, I told the staff to emphasize to my mother-in-law that she is the one going to pay for the banquet hall, stressing the cost and duration of the booking as a consequence of her actions. After a while, I received an incoming call from my mother-in-law. I answered it right away. I can hear her pleading voice. "Please, forgive me, Angel. I never meant to hurt you or deceive the family. I was just trying to prove myself, to show that I could contribute something, and to prove that you are not worthy to be part of this family. Your actions have consequences, and you need to face them. You took advantage of my kindness and tried to steal the credit for something I worked hard for. I am truly sorry. Is there anything I can do to make it right?" "Well, actually, there's something you can do. You will pay for the banquet hall that was booked for 2 days with a $300 hour rate." "But that's a significant amount of money." "Yes, it is. And it's a small price to pay for the lesson you have learned. It's time for you to realize the consequences of your actions and the impact they have on those around you." "Please, forgive me. I don't have that much money. I don't know what to do." "Then do yourself a favor and work there for a week. I think that can suffice for all the damage that you did on the trip that was supposed to be memorable for my family." Due to the incident, the trip was cancelled. My family went home except for my mother-in-law. She deserves to work there to pay for all her compensation. My husband hugged me. "I am so proud of you for standing up for yourself, and I'm sorry for not realizing what was happening sooner." It's not just about me. It's about the importance of trust and honesty within our family. We have all learned valuable lessons from this experience. And with that, my mother-in-law truly learned her lesson the hard way. My family and I rescheduled our trip, and I know for sure that it will be much more perfect.